Good evening and welcome to the Whiskey Lovers Society with me, Gert Retief. And tonight, well, as you've seen in the thumbnail, we're looking at Aberlour, a 14-year-old single malt. Definitely not natural color. It's definitely chill filtered, 40% ABV, ex-bourbon and ex-sherry cask. Now, the question that I've been asking for so many people, so many subscribers, is that do you really mind the 40%? Do you really mind if I do add a little bit of color to it? And of course, does it make a difference for you? Now, I've numerous people over the last 3 years of this YouTube channel has commented on it. And lately, especially the last 6-7 months, there's a lot of people that are saying we are done with mediocre, we are done with that entry level 40% ABV, we want more, well, me included. And sometimes I am just reminded that not everybody is so heavily invested in a whiskey, and that connoisseur that want that extra, they want more control over the whiskey. Or, as a lot of people that watch my video, they really don't care about that. They want to know, what does it taste like? Is it something that I enjoy? Is there something that, well, after watching a video, they can go back to the bottle shop and they can buy a bottle with confidence that they are going to enjoy it. And of course, most of the time, price is going to be one of the deciding factors. Now, I don't want to make this video about ranting. It is just an observation, because we have the two free tiers when it comes to whiskey. The novice that don't care, that just want to drink something light. The intermediate that are just starting off the journey into maybe buying up to God knows what. And then of course the people that's been doing it for years, they are the difficult people to satisfy when it comes to whiskey, and they are very particular on what they buy. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, let's push it up to 46% ABV as a minimum. Well, I think I am one of them, but I over the last 20 odd years, I've developed a little bit of a snobbish attitude when it comes to whiskey. And of course, not all the people watch my channel are that into whiskey. They might be that once-off buyer, or once a month, or once or every 3 months buy a whiskey. Now, a lot of the people was also saying that, yeah, we love it at 46%. I said, how do you drink it? Well, we add a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons of water, and to make it sure, that is perfect for them to drink. Perfect. But then you might as well start off with 40 or 43% ABV. So if you prove it down to that territory, you might as well also then try the 40% ABV whiskey. Now, a couple of years ago, I watched a YouTube channel, and one of the experts was talking about proofing their whiskey, or proofing down the whiskey. And they were talking about, I think it was 36 or 37%, can't remember exact, is the best optimal ABV for your nose and palate to detect all the nuances, all the aromas, all the tasting notes. That's the perfect one. Now, I'm not so sure about that, but they are the expert. Well, and he is still one of the biggest experts in whiskey industry. Not going to mention names, but I'm sure a lot of people know who I am talking about. So for me, it's all about the taste and the nosing, the smells, the aromas that I can get. If it's lower ABV, like this Aberlour 40, I don't mind it if I nose it, taste it, enjoy it, and when I look at the price point, and if it is a nice price point, then it is a win-win situation. Would I like it higher? Well, it is just a curiosity in me that are thinking, what more would I get out of a 46% or a 48%? And then proof it down with a drop of 2 if necessary. Normally I leave it at as it comes in the bottle. So this is the Aberlour 14. It is that 40% ABV. There is definitely color added to it, but I suspect not much. It is sherry cask, ex-bourbon cask. And yeah, there is a little bit of a oiliness, not much. There is some nice long slow legs forming on the glass. So yeah, it's well, it is what it is. 40%. Do we drink it? Is it nice? It's something that we're going to buy in the future. Now it is this one is the 14-year-old. It is batch number 4. It is available by a shop that I can get here in Paris, France, and it is 53 euros for the bottle for a 14-year-old. Now that is already ticking a little bit of a box for me. That is in the price range where I'm still comfortable. Even a 12-year-old is also in that range. So that's something that I can say, well, if I like it, I'm willing to spend 45 to 55 on a 12 or a 14-year-old whiskey. Now I did a review on the 12-year-old, also 40% ABV, and I've done the 18-year-old, and that is was bottled at 43% ABV. Now I did bring a little bit of each one. If I feel the need to do a comparison, the 12-year-old, I did like it, but in the beginning it was a little bit too oaky for me. There was a little bitter, sour, bitter note in the end. Well, it could have been just that bottle, but I was not overly enthusiastic about it. After some time, I think I've got bottle number 3 here. After some time, it did make a little bit of a difference, and I quite enjoy them now. I've got one unopened bottle, so too many open bottles at this stage, so I'm going to leave that a little bit to rest. So on this one, before I start, please remember to like, share and subscribe. Sorry about the rant, but I think it is important that we talk about the issues with whiskey. So like, share and subscribe and help out the channel with ad revenue, and that ad revenue goes to children in South Africa. We are sponsoring 75 kids, and it's quite expensive to keep those tummies full. So every time you click on this video, I get 1 or 2 cents, and in the end of the month, I will send everything to South Africa. So that out of the way, let's talk about the whiskey. It's 14 years old, 40%. Now, I don't expect a big hit of alcohol, even if you agitate it a little bit. But I put my nose in, I was a little bit surprised. There was a little bit more alcohol that I expected. Now, if I really agitate, I get that it's still a youthful note. I get still that alcohol note, which was a little bit of a surprise for me at 14 years. So maybe the proofing down is a good effect in this one. I think if it was at 46%, it might still be a little bit, well, come across as a little bit of youthful. And then settle down. It is a nice whiskey. It's well balanced between the bourbon and the oak. It's not trying, or there's no fight between the two that will say sherry 1 and this whole thing is a sherry monster. Now, Aberlour loved the sherry casks. If you look at the 18-year-old, a lot more sherry notes. And even the 12-year-old for me felt a little bit more on the sherry side. So this one is quite balanced, but if I have to pick a winner, I think when you pour it, it feels a little bit more towards the bourbon side. So it's a light, friendly one, and you get more a fresh fruit component. But if you leave it a little bit in the glass, give it a little bit of time, then the balance move for me a little bit towards the sherry cask influence. It is for me a little bit like a summer whiskey, summer in a glass. I get that little bit of an appley note, a red apple, maybe also a toffee apple, a red toffee apple, so you get a little bit of a toffee note as well. Definitely the vanillas are there, shining through. And then if you give it a little bit of time, you get an oaky note. And like a freshly planed oak piece or furniture, you get that oakiness, and you get a little bit of a dusty, oaky, dusty note. And then a little bit of that dry fruit comes out. Just maybe a little bit of a date, maybe a light raisin, but it's still not overpowering the whiskey. So pleasant, nice, even that 40% ABV, I do like it. On the taste, cheers. It is really nice. It is, I would not say this is a complex whiskey. I think it is just a friendly whiskey that will impart flavors that will just make it enjoyable if you drink it neat, and even if you decide to add water to it, I would not add water to this one. I think that is a good level, but you get quite a lot of the flavors, vanilla flavors coming out. You get a little bit of a chocolate note. You get a little bit of that dried fruit note, a little bit of that raisin note. I get a little bit of a toffee note. That little toffee apple note is still there. More towards a little bit of a cider, a dash of cider, apple cider that comes in. And yeah, it's nice, 40%. It's, of course, I'm used to high ABV whiskies. There's a little warmth in the mouth. There's no tingling sensation. There's no, whoa, it burns all the way down. Well, if you are new to whiskey, I suspect that you're going to have that effect. But then you can add a drop or two of water. And I suggest, I don't just take it, put it in my mouth and swallow. So you do have a dilution. Well, it sounds a little gross, but there is some dilution going in on your mouth. And of course, then you take it down. Now, I've seen people drinking and it's like they're drinking wine, that they draw in air, making all these funny noises and things like that. I'm not really into that. I've tried, well, you can use your nose, open your mouth a little bit to get the air right through to the back. I'm not a big fan of that. My brain doesn't compute when I try to do that. But different ways of then actually proofing it down while you're drinking it, and then also going down. And I see a lot of the experts that say it needs to be 10, 20, 30, 40 seconds in the mouth before you drink. That's a little bit much for me, but I see where they are going to. So definitely, it is a nice, friendly whiskey. There's something that I would do recommend at that price point. If you can find it, give it a go. Now, I did bring a little bit of the 18-year-old. Now, I know it's probably not a fair comparison, 18 with 14, but I just have a little bit that I want to show you color-wise. Of course, much more color to it. Well, much more color added probably. But the depth is then completely going up. That's the darker notes that that Sherry Monsters is definitely picking out on this one. Of course, the price is going to be much higher. But if you have to make a choice, 14 or 18, if you are into that sherry monsters, then I think go up, save a little bit of money, pick yourself a 18-year-old. But if you just want to sit back, relax, enjoy a whiskey in the evening, especially summertime, sitting, watching nature, and I would suggest try the 14-year-old. So thank you very much for watching. Of course, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I see you next time. Cheers.